All right, so we got a hand here about what's AI and AGI, but we're gonna go into AI first. AI is a narrow focus or a certain domain of knowledge you want to look at. So it acts the same way as a human being does, right? But for a narrow specific item. So if you're looking at figuring out how many, if it's a car or a dog, vision based, you have a domain based on those specific items. It's not general, it's narrow. And that's what regular AI is for. In typical cases, we'll talk about it in a little bit. AGI, different from AI, is about a whole breadth, a general concept of learning something new as never learned before, understanding what that means, and keep building upon that without any use of people going in and helping it or teaching it or showing it. It learns it on its own. This is where the companies now are focused and attention on AGI. Most companies now are using AI to put it into production. Companies like Google and DeepMind, that we'll talk about later on, are focusing attention on AGI. Misconception of AI, a lot of people think it's just statistics. I had a guy talk to me the other day about statistics and say, AI isn't just stats. No. Stat is part of it, but there's a lot of deterministic parts of it that is not statistics. We'll get into that later on as well. So we look down from this bubble, AI is just a top field. Then there's machine learning, which is what the majority of people are working on. And then there's deep learning, and that's the part where it gets real specific of using artificial neural networks, which you've probably heard of before. We'll get into that later. All right, so some of the things of the timeline of AI. If you look over there on the right-hand side, you'll see from the 40s, this is when it started, all the way up to basically now. Back then, they were just making computers, and they were doing rule-based, and they thought that was AI. Hey, if-then statements, that's AI. No, it wasn't, but it was good for at the time. Over time, it switched down to computer vision, robotics, and then finally now until we have deep learning, and people are trying to move away from that and go into deep AGI. So the big three parts here is computer vision, natural language processing, and robotics. I particularly like natural language processing. That's my field of AI. I'm not really into the whole vision or the robotics because I just don't have the time to build machines, and I don't have the time to do just vision. But words, text, understanding, that kind of knowledge is kind of things that I like to put my hands on. All right. So AI in the past, like I said before, scripted, if-then statements, not so great. Current AI is where we are now. That is where we go into the whole deep learning, artificial neural networks, a lot of regression, and we'll get into some of those models as well in a little bit. And in the future, AGI. This is where you want to put your money on, because this is where the companies are going to spend a lot of time building these machines. And then the future of that is ASI, which is artificial superintelligence, which is even further beyond AGI.